Dhanush with this film did everything that he could, but maybe that was the problem. You don't need to do everything, but find the right balance for all of it to come together. Let's talk. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and I finally watched the Tamil film Raayan, written and directed by Dhanush himself. It finally came on streaming and we did a live watch along on the React channel. And after watching it, one thing was for sure, that this film was meant to be watched in a theater, which I couldn't because it didn't release near me. Now it's been some time since the film is out, so I will be delving into some minor spoilers in the video. So if you have seen the film, then only continue watching. First, we have to talk about Dhanush here because he is not just the writer, director, but also the actor. And it's totally his film. You don't do all of these things and still don't make the film you wanted to. And watching this film was really fascinating because you see him directing himself and writing for himself. A role or a hero's role, which we have seen him do many times before with different directors. So in a sense, we are actually seeing what kind of hero he thinks he wants to play. How does he look at himself as a hero? And we see a distinct style of hero he portrays in this film. The one with restraint, who is not very over the top, who's not throwing 10 people in the air. Instead, he is very quiet, he is reserved. He is a silent killer, but vulnerable too. Not just physically, that he can be beaten up, that he has to take a rest, he has to recover, he doesn't have infinite power, but also mentally, where we see he is also scared. His heart is racing. He also has his own fears. Yes, he can take down anyone who comes in front of him, but still he is a human. He is not invincible. And it was really interesting to see this projection, to compare this with what people imagine him to be as a hero. And the best part is that his characteristics of the hero follows the narrative where this character belongs. This film was 100% his vision and he went all out with it. Technically, the film is so well made. Like the way it's shot, the composition, the framing, the different lighting, the colors. You constantly see a green shade throughout the film. But there are moments when his rage is coming out, we see red color on screen. The choice of showing the backstory totally in black and white, then later in the film showing a flashback montage, it's shown with chromatic aberration, making it stand out so you could tell this is a flashback. There are brilliant use of shadows, of smoke, of mist, and putting color through that, the characters walking on and off, the outstanding imagery they create. One of my favorite has to be the scene where we see the imagery of goddess Durga. I learned in the interviews that they actually built a whole set, the whole town we see, it was created for the film, and they used it really well. They are long, wide takes, going through the streets, designing the action set pieces. It gives you the vastness of this place. When you shoot in a real location, there are a lot of limitations you have to take care of. There'll be a lot of people who are not part of the film. You cannot really shoot a lot of wide scenes because they'll be looking in the camera. But when you create this whole set, you can have so many extras and all of them are acting in the film. So suddenly the logistical limitations are not there. And the film is adulterated and they use it really well. It's quite brutal. You see a lot of blood, you see a lot of gruesome scenes. Not too much where you cannot even look at the screen, but enough to sell you the impact. And I like the action is not just dishum. Each action piece is designed differently. At the interval, we are in a veranda and it's raining, and that's where all the action happens. And before that, we only just hear it. The sound design is so good. Then the one within a single room, and then of course the climax. Each of them stand out on their own. I can say that one directive that the whole film had was how can we make everything look cool, and they definitely achieved it. But I did feel that sometimes they overdid it. It felt like a show off, and because they did so many things, the visual language of the film is a bit inconsistent. Now there were, if you look into it, a lot of parallels to Ramayan, as the film is titled Raayan, and there's quite obvious imagery that Dhanush's character is Ravan, and then you can consider his siblings to be like Ravan's siblings, and if you see what happens in the plot, it's very much similar. But I feel it's not 100% because a lot of things are vague, but overall it does feel half-baked. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, and it's left vague. I'll divide the film in two halves, the first and the second, and there's a drastic difference between both of them in the way the storytelling goes about. The first half is relatively grounded. The film takes its time to establish everything, to set up the world. We first get the backstory and it's quite linear in that sense. Then we come to the present. We see the town these characters are in. We get to know about the two gangs, how police is involved. We get to know all the players, what are their motivations, and the film does a really good job of setting up the chess pieces. It is complex, but it's very well done. And I like that for a change, the police were not just the mere observers or corrupt and working with the gangsters. Instead, we have them as the orchestrators who are setting the plan in motion to destroy everything. They are the actual masterminds behind everything, instead of it being the gangsters or Dhanush. And Dhanush and his family is the unexpected player in their plan. And we see how they get stuck in this mess. I like the way Dhanush is introduced in the film. There is actually no introduction. He's just there in the food truck working and we just go to him. That's it. No slow motion, no song, no dance, no extra music. He just comes on screen. That's it. And that adds to the narrative they have been building up for him in the film. Now at the pre-interval, the way the film goes into mass, I wasn't expecting it at all. But it was really well set up. It didn't feel like it came out of nowhere. I expected it to become a cat and mouse game. They'll be on the run, something like Asuran. But they actually went for the kill. And that really surprised me. I really enjoyed that sequence. That moment actually had the vibes of the first John Wick. And post-interval, I was wondering, where are we going with this now? Are we getting into a thriller where they have to escape this situation, or will they have to go to the end to fight it out? Now the second half has a very promising start, but soon we take a U-turn. And at that point, it was very obvious that the plot points are just there to make everything look cool. Post taking out a whole gang by themselves, they are laying low because they don't want to get in the eye of the other gangster, played by Suryah. And of course, he finds out the truth. Now do you run away or you fight? And I liked here that our hero is proactive, that instead of waiting for the villain to attack, so it's better I take them down first. And here again, the way the film creates these massy moments, be it the first meeting between Dhanush and Suryah, or the whole alley fight sequence, the way it's set up, we don't even see him taking those people down, but they're already dead, and then he shows his true color. And again, a very good set piece. And then comes the big twist in the tail, and I was like, WTF. They turned this story to Raayan versus his own brothers. Again, concept-wise, it's a very novel idea. It has that Ramayan parallel, Vibhishan going against his own brother. But the way it happens in this film, it's out of nowhere. The execution of this twist is so rushed. We see a quick montage of what happened, that how these brothers took favors from Suryah's character, and now they are loyal to him. And that is supposed to justify the actions the brothers commit. It just doesn't work. Come on, he's your brother. Your whole life he protected and took care of you, and one day you just met a new guy and he's being nice to you and you forgot everything your brother did. Okay, the clarification they gave is that they were in shock that they were there to kill their own brother, and in the heat of movement they stabbed him. The way that scene played out, no, it didn't work for me. It didn't convince me at all. Maybe instead of that, they came there to kill someone. They don't know who it was. They attacked at him, they stabbed him, and then they found out, oh, it's their own brother. But even then, even after you committed this mistake, why are you not helping? Why are you not correcting your mistake? He's your brother. How can you just run away? And everything that followed after this twist didn't work for me. And even from that point, the film doesn't have any sense of time. Like post-interval, we find out that Aparna Balamuli's character, who I feel was kind of wasted, is pregnant with the middle brother. And by the end of the film, that kid is already born and is almost 1 or 2 years old. Again, I was like, WTF, what? So much time passed between all of this happening? Again, as I said, rushed. Now, everything that happened definitely gave the opportunity for the sister to shine, played by Dushara Vijayan. That action scene she got in that clinic, outstanding. Then with the goddess Durga moment, and then the climax killing the brother, which again looks cool. The idea is amazing, but it's unwarranted. And that's why everything that happens in the second half, the reason behind it is that it should look cool, and it does, but it's never justified with the narrative. These moments take the front seat and the story takes the back seat. All that world building we saw in the first half is just gone away. There's no weight at all. There are supposed to be two big gangs, fighting, and now none of that matters. Only thing that matters for Suryah is to take down Dhanush's character. Like this town, this place was supposed to be its own character, but it was never, because everything became about Dhanush and his family, and everyone else in the film, their life just revolved around them. It felt like they don't have anything of their own to do. And even for Suryah as a villain, I didn't think he had anything to him. The character was more comical than being threatening. And if you really wanted to do this Raayan versus the brothers, then the film should have been about that from the start. The setup should have been there, not just the few moments where he scolds the two brothers or doesn't take their side. That's just too childish. All the things have to happen over a span of time. The cracks in the relationship has to be developed over time, and how it's widening. Even before the climax, there's Selvaraghavan in the film who is just there and then just gets killed at the end. Even pre-climax, when the brothers apologize, they have this compromise and settlement between Dhanush and Suryah, and then we directly jump into a big dance sequence, which again looks outstanding. The way it's executed, wow, it looked so cool. But what happened with these characters? When the brothers went and met the sister, where's that confrontation? We just directly see all of them just dancing. The gravity of the situation is just gone. And then the twist, the sister kills the brother and just leaves in an auto. Then Raayan takes everyone down. Again, looks cool. We found out the police was behind this, and everything for them was just easy to do. But Raayan is smart. They just leave at the back of a tempo again with the kid. again, and everything just repeats what we saw at the start. And there are some rumors that we may see a sequel to the story, so that would be interesting. See, with everything said and done, the thing is that the film we saw is exactly what Dhanush wanted to make, nothing else. It worked at the box office, people enjoyed it, but is it a film that will be remembered for a long time? I don't think so. It definitely showcases the ability Dhanush has to pull off a big film, but the only thing that is missing is the restraint which Dhanush's character had in the film. The story had really good potential, but it was sacrificed to have these cool epic moments. And those cool moments definitely make it a great theatrical experience, but it takes a great story to be a good cinema, which is the case with this Tamil film Maharaja. And you can check out my review here. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts? And I will see you next time.